much more than entertainment. The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
cars already as well.
Oh, what an absolute nightmare.
Persia in the gravel. Well, that's lifting up the inside.
Over carnage, is it, in turn one?
Just unnecessary, isn't it? It's so early in the weekend. You need a bit of self-preservation as well.
Fraser's still on track. Yes, he is. There he is. So he's coming around the final section. Is it front left puncture, was it? Or rear left?
Rear left. I think he's got front left suspension damage as well or something, hasn't he? It doesn't look like it's completely square.
That's frustrating. Yeah. Well, he got tagged, didn't he? He went twice. We're going to try and take a look at it in a minute once he's crossed the line. Here comes Fraser. Unfortunately, that's...
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, singer, and Islandnet Services.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music is a play, and the people that I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling, don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it dark, shine your lights
Hi everyone, welcome to CVM's Watch the Weather, where we give you an inside scoop on the essential services in Jamaica during the hurricane season. I'm Michaela. Leo, what are we doing today?
Great question, Michaela. So today we are here at the Portmore Fire Station Outreach and Resource Center, and we will be speaking to some of the members of the brigade and just asking them a few questions about their process during the hurricane season. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right.
Welcome to Lead Story this evening. I'm Nika Lewis. This evening we're talking the passion of politics, what we've been hearing on the platforms so far, what we've been seeing with poster removals, and so much more about expletives on the political stage. We'll discuss further with two guests who are way too secure in their understanding of what's happening in Jamaica's politics to not discuss this issue with us this evening. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Lead Story. My name is Nika Lewis, filling in for George Davis, and you'll see him at the top of the hour at 8. However, for now, we're talking about legislating, what's happening in the political season, or the silly season, as some people put it. And we have two guests. One is on Zoom and one in studio. So in studio with me is Dr. Michael Abrahams. He's the political and social commentator. And we also have joining us on Zoom, Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, NIA, Danielle Archer. She's joining us now. Danielle, are you with us? Ms. Archer? All right, so we'll start with Mr. Abrams. Dr. Abrams, you've written extensively about what has happened so far, especially with the expletives and the commonality of them now in our political season and the campaign season. What can you say, if anything, is needed to guide what our politicians and political figures have been doing and saying on the platforms?
Good evening. Thanks for having me on the program. I just think there should be some type of code of conduct that is enforced. That is enforced.
Okay.
Because you know, many times we have codes or rules or laws that are not enforced. But I think it would be appropriate to have some kind of guidelines with some kind of consequences for this type of behavior, because we see it over and over and over again with no consequences.
Indeed. You mentioned in a recent article that there were experiences shared on one side and the other side opined on that, saying not on our side. But then later on, we heard not just from that side, but from a particular individual who not many would have expected that from. Should leaders, especially, and those aspiring to leadership roles in Jamaica's current state, be a little more accountable when it comes to what they say on the political platform?
I think they should. We're all humans and we will all slip up. But I just think that of late, there's been too much laxity. And we live in a society now where we become so indisciplined, and we complain about our youth being very indisciplined. But if our leaders are setting these types of examples, we can't really expect better from our youth.
Indeed. And
I think they should be held at a higher standard, because they are leaders. There are people we are supposed to follow. So yeah, they are human and they can make errors, but some people, for example, Everett Warmington, are just repeat offenders. And you do something, you say sorry, you go back, you don't say sorry, you keep doing it. So you apologize for the last outburst. There's nothing to stop him from letting off another so-called SIM card next week.
But he's been redeemed. I want to bring in Ms. Archer because she's back with us online. Ms. Archer, are you with us?
I am with you.
Perfect. I don't know if you were able to follow the conversation up to this point. Were you?
I was able to get a bit of what my conversation was saying.
Right. So while we're trying to continue the discourse, what we've been saying is that perhaps more ought to be done than just saying there will be rules or regulations and whatever else might come as a policy in how politicians approach the podium and what they say from the platform, especially during the political high tide. We've heard the NIA and other advocacy networks come out demanding that the policies, the legislations be made more rigid and that there be sanctions, penalties. Where do you stand currently, especially with what has been happening in recent weeks and days on the political platforms?
I think we are at that point where we do require legislation to give us that code of conduct for all our politicians. If you think about it, lawyers have a code of conduct. When Isaac Buchanan said what he said in his moments of enthusiasm, he was suspended from practicing law. When Mr. Everett Warmington, our reputed politician, says the very same thing in a different way, he is not sanctioned in any way or form. It's a bit of a hypocrisy for us to have our leaders who do not willingly want to be guided in their behavior. And I think it's an opportune time that we legislate to have the Nolan principles, which will govern how honest they are. It will govern their level of integrity. It would speak to us about their level of transparency. And it would certainly deal a lot with their decorum on the platform.
As you mentioned that you give a hint, but we want to know if you have any clear picture of what this code should and will look like?
No, we've heard that the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs had indicated that a draft was ready at the cabinet. We want to see that. A code of conduct would certainly include the 7 Nolan principles, and it would indicate sanctions and fines to ensure that behavior is something that conforms to what we expect of our leaders. So the basic tenets of the legislation would be certainly something that includes sanctions and fines, and it would certainly include things that speak to ensuring that their persons have integrity, speaking to their level of honesty, ensuring there's no conflict of interest when they're doing their business and putting the public first. Those are some of the tenets that I believe should be within a document that specifically states how politicians should respond and behave.
Understood. It was a little hard for us to understand, but we're going to take a quick one and we'll be right back with you here on Lead Story.
Is paving the way to becoming a republic or future or choice. The time by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs is
6:45. Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Save when you charge your electric vehicle with JPS. It's even more affordable than gas. Our Charge and Go network offers the fastest electric vehicle chargers, so you can power up in as little as 30 minutes. With over 39 charging points island-wide, you'll always find a convenient place to shop, eat, work, or relax while you recharge. The Charge Lab app and Charge and Go RFID card make it easy to pay and track your charge right from your phone. Start charge. Learn more at jpsco.com/charge and go.
Hey Jerry, what's up?
I really think you should look into adding IslandNet's unlimited internet as a reliable backup for your home and office. We can come over and we'll talk more.
How fast can you get?
That fast.
But how fast is IslandNet's broadband? Fast enough people business fast?
Nope.
Fast enough for your fast?
Nope.
How about fiber fast?
But not that kind of fiber.
They use fast broadband to provide reliability.
Experience the lightning fast wireless broadband and reliable business services.
Ready to take the next step? With the UWI Global Campus, your future is just a click away, no matter where you are in the world. Choose from flexible online and blended degrees, plus continuing and professional education programs, all at your own pace. Join a global network of leaders, innovators, and change makers, all backed by the prestige of a top-ranked regional university. The UWI Global Campus. Connect, learn, succeed.
At Hawkeye, we work hard to develop state-of-the-art security solutions like our new Total Connect smart home automation system that gives you 24/7 access to control your appliances, lights, cameras, and doors using your smartphone, tablet, or PC. As the most trusted electronic security company in Jamaica, Hawkeye has the fastest response times to get to you when you need us most. Trust Hawkeye's Total Connect. Hawkeye, securing what matters most.
Welcome back to Lead Story. We're talking about legislating, what happens in our political arena, and a potential code of conduct. We have joining us in studio Dr. Michael Abrahams. He's a social and political commentator. We also had Ms. Archer, Danielle Archer of the NIA online. She fell off, but we'll get her back soon. So we're continuing now, Dr. Abrahams, with the discussion that we started around the code of conduct, expectations, fines, sanctions. We heard about a draft, and we heard that when these members of parliaments and councillors were about to get an increase, as my friends would say, an enormous increase of sorts, we were promised we were given justification as to why now more than ever they ought to be held to a certain standard.
Yes.
Have we seen a falling off
Yes.
since then?
Yes, it's just business as usual. Business as usual, really.
We talked about what this code of conduct might look like, but will this code of conduct help in reaffirming fair play?
It's hard to tell until we really enforce it, but I think it's something to be looked at seriously. From what I understand, there was a draft in 2023. It's now 2025. We haven't seen anything since. But I think probably it could include, hefty fines. After all, they're making a lot of money now. They can afford that. Because with the obscenity law, the profanity law we have now, the fine is something like $1,500. It's really nothing.
Chicken feed.
Chicken feed, really. But I think there should be consequences. And that is something that needs to be looked at. And you know what disturbs me? When I see these faux pas, these outbursts, I don't see the leaders of the party distancing themselves from that type of language or rhetoric. I just don't understand that. I really don't. Even recently, there was the case with a PNP councillor, and he was on social media, and he said some people asked him some questions.
But he distanced himself. He's since issued an apology, distancing himself from the comments and saying a member of his team has been suspended, and that is Belfield Division.
He said a member of his team did it.
Yes, without his approval.
Yeah, also I heard that if you lose a tooth, the tooth fairy will come and give you a gift. Yeah, I heard that as well. So let me tell you, I find it hard to believe that because apparently there has been a pattern of behavior from this person, not just now, but in the past with interactions on the social media side. Oh. There's been a pattern of behavior. So if you have an associate or you employ somebody to manage it, and this has been happening in the past, why are they still there? And even if it was somebody else who did that, I saw the apology, and he said the person was suspended. That doesn't warrant a suspension. That warrants being fired. Oh. He said something about somebody's mother and make reference to her, comparing her with a road that goes all over the place. No, it's this kind of thing. And you see, because people are studying these things and say sorry and keep going on, there's nothing to stop somebody next week from going on a platform and telling somebody to do something to the mother again. There's nothing to stop them from doing it. They just say sorry, keep it moving. And our kids are watching. And we talk about the dancehall culture and dancehall DJs, how they're lewd and they're crude, but there's a thin line now.
So you perceive there to be double standards?
Definitely. There are definitely double standards. I personally think we shouldn't have an obscenity law. I don't believe in making bad words illegal. That's my thought. But if the law exists, and up to 2 years ago at Sumfest, an artist was literally pulled off stage while he was doing a set and charged, why should politicians get away with that? You know the irony of it? Mr. Warmington said something, Mr. Golding said something, and then less than a week after, the police are warning artists, dancehall artists, to refrain from,
But who
expletives.
Who polices the politicians in that
Nobody.
way? Political ombudsman?
We used to have a standalone political ombudsman, and the administration got rid of that, subsumed under the EOG. There's no standalone political ombudsman now. There's an office of the political ombudsman.
So it's ineffective based on what you're seeing?
In my opinion, I don't think it would be as effective as having a standalone political ombudsman. That's my opinion.
People also said the standalone ombudsman was ineffective, that she had more bark than bite.
Well, appoint a different one. Not to have a standalone, I think it's of value to have one.
Well, I think it had to do with the office of the political ombudsman. So it seems the legislation that guides and crafts the nature of the office is just one that doesn't allow them to do more than, say, apologize or don't do this again. But there is no fining, there is no real sanctioning.
And that can be revised, because when administrations want to refine or revise things, they will do it. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I see. Well, we want to talk about what really, in your mind, should be done about Jamaican parlance, bad words.
That's a whole other story. I'd be a hypocrite to burn people because I have a repertoire. I really don't believe it should be illegal. I really don't see the point of legislating words that we use. No. Some of them are used for creative expression. They're used for different reasons. But I just don't believe in making it illegal. I do believe, though, in certain circumstances, in certain forums, it would be appropriate to refrain from using that type of language, though. But to actually have a law, no, I think,
don't think it's
I think
necessary?
that needs to be revised as well. I definitely think so.
Because of our culture?
Not just our culture, but freedom of speech, really.
Okay. Is there room in your mind for this back and forth of sorts between political aspirants or caretakers, etc., whoever they are, rivals, opponents, in this kind of atmosphere? We're heading into an election. We know it's going to be very consequential. Isn't there room for that sort of... I heard that there was once a remark from Crawford calling the Prime Minister Craven A. And we also heard from him saying bottle stopper vase, you know, those kinds of things. Is
That's
there not
different.
room for that?
Yeah, that's different because politics is a blood sport and you have to have thick skin. So, you know, throwing those jabs is a different thing from getting personal and different from, you know, vitriolic ad hominem attacks. We're going to talk about somebody's mother. That's not acceptable. No.
What is acceptable? What would you like to see from the political leaders and those who aspire to these positions in future, in the very, very near future, even in present?
To have some kind of, as I said, to enact some code of conduct where you say, listen, there are certain kinds of boundaries. You can't laugh at somebody and jibe them, but there's a certain point beyond which you really try not to go. Because after all, if you're a leader, you should be setting an example for the rest of us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Abrahams.
Yes.
This has been
Thanks for having me.
Lead Story. Thank you. Lead Story on CVM TV. We were joined earlier by Danielle Archer, and she is no longer here with us, but thank you, Danielle. She's traveling out of the country. And so that's it for Lead Story. I'm Nika Lewis. I see you at the top of the hour with the news.